Good day, everyone. B from Our Dream, Our Purpose. Back, doing a little bit more tear down and melting today. My neighbor had this generator. You can see the gas tanks off of it. Had some problems with it. Worked good for years. Had some problems with it, so couldn't get it running. So he took some parts off of it that he wanted. Then he was just throwing it out. So let me have it, and figured I would tear it down and see how much aluminum, copper we can get out of it. We've got a gas motor on it. You've seen me tear those down before if you haven't. I got older videos. But I'll tear that down. We'll get aluminum out of that. Then it's got the generator itself, the motor, that I anticipate some copper in there, as well as aluminum. So we'll get like a 2 motors for 1 out of this one. We'll go ahead and start tearing down. First thing I want to do is get the motor out, disconnect it so we get rid of this, and then just start tearing it down from there. All right, let's get to it.
As you see me tear different things apart, I'm really trying a lot of different things that I find. And because of that, there's a lot of times where I'm tearing something apart that I've never torn apart before. I've never torn a generator apart before. I have done gas motors, lawnmower motors and things like that, but I've never torn a generator apart, so this is new. So you'll see me loosening all the fasteners that I see, and then trying to find the ones that out there that I missed. Now the first step in this teardown was to get the outer structure off. There was really no value in that. There's a little bit of electrical, but very low value in that. So what we have here is the gas motor that turns the generator, the electric motor itself, the generator part of it. I've never torn one of these generators apart, so just getting them separated was a lot more challenging. There's a lot of different ways, and you're going to see in here that I tend to use a hammer, and I will touch base later in the video too. A lot of times, because I'm tearing these apart, when I'll see the aluminum, I can break the aluminum. I'm going to have to break it eventually anyways, so it doesn't hurt. But so I'm hitting with the hammer, I'm breaking the aluminum into smaller pieces, just trying to make it easier to tear it down, really is what it is. So as I create these videos, I early on was talking through the whole process, and it does take a while to do these and video and edit and things like that. So what I've tried to do is not talk as much during the teardown process, so you can just watch that and then I'll speak from time to time. But as I fast forward this, because each process takes a while, I want you to see as much as you can. I found it's not as relaxing. I mean, it's moving pretty quick. So let me know if you like that, if that works for you, if you'd rather see just, you know, a 10-second clip of this part and that part, things like that. So leave comments, and it's just to help us get better and learn. Thank you. Lock this in the vise, and then use pepper wrench to get all these studs out. And we'll do the same with the copper. Go from there. Get over to the vise. So this part of the process, I'm doing two things. I'm breaking the aluminum into smaller pieces so it'll fit in the crucible itself. And I'm also focusing on there's some metal studs that were cut off, broken off, things like that. So I'm working to get the studs out so that we don't have to deal with them. Some did not come out, so when I melt, I'll save that for the end. Be careful, and I'll actually scrape the metal out, as the steel posts won't melt at the same temperature, so I'll be able to actually get those out. So the teardown of this motor went a lot better than any motor I've done in the past. I went through and cut the top off really clean of the copper top itself. And then I found a long screw the same size, thickness, or a little smaller. And I was able to what I'm doing is just knocking the aluminum, pushing it through little by little, finding which ones are attached, and then I'm able to pull them through the other side. Again, it went very smooth. Normally I struggle with it. But this did work out really nice. One thing I will comment on as well, whenever you see me working, my workbench is typically full of tools. When I start a project, I know kind of what tools I'm going to use, so I will get those out and lay them out. But as it goes on and I'm trying different ways of doing things, I'll pull more and more tools out, but I keep them all there so I'm not putting them away. At the very end, I'll put them away and start from scratch each build. But you will see a lot of tools out there, and again, I try a lot of different tools, see what works, so it makes it better for the next time.
Got those torn down. Still have a little bit of metal in here that were just locked in there. It'll be fine whenever we melt it. We'll actually pull those out and do it at the very end. I'll save any pieces of metal at the very end to make sure we get that out. Copper, still got a little bit of tape and things like that now. We'll clean it up. No big deal, but it's late. Took a little longer than I expected, so we'll actually melt this down tomorrow. All right. See you tomorrow. Now you guys have seen before, I use different size crucibles. On this one, because some of these pieces are larger, I'm going to use a really large crucible. We'll see what we pour. Probably won't pour really large bars. Maybe we'll see. But definitely want to use a larger crucible so I didn't have to spend as much time cutting these down, breaking these down. So we'll do the aluminum first. As always, if you see in my other videos, it allows this to get warm enough. And then once we get all the aluminum melted, because it melts at a lower temperature, then we'll focus on doing the copper. All right? Here, load it up.
As I mentioned before, I try to prep each project ahead of time. So when I go to do this pour, I take this cart and I take it to where all my tools are at and I load it up and hope I have everything. There are times where I'll have to get other things, but this seems to work, and then I will lay everything out as needed. But I always start the furnace first to get that going. While that's going, I'll lay everything out and set it out. So Just give you a heads up. Try to prep ahead of time. Saves a little bit of time while you're doing it. Seems to work out. This is going to be the first pour. I'm cleaning it up. I always I stir it up as my process, make sure everything's off the edges, and then if I think it's ready to pour, then I will scrape the top off. A lot of times I've seen in other people when they do pours, the top is really just a powder. Maybe I'm not letting mine heat up long enough, but I typically get a good amount of aluminum out with it as well. So at the very end, a lot of times I'll put it all back in and then just clean it up one last time. But if there's better ways out there, please let me know. Again, I'm just learning, trying different things. So this will be the first of many pours, but we'll get to it. So I think this was a good pour, but what you see me doing is I'll actually put the crucible back inside the furnace. And then I fill it in there. The only reason I do that, a lot of times, sometimes when I fill it, the tongs are a little tougher to grab on because I have too much in there, or it's up to the top type of thing. I could fill it 3/4 of the way full and then do it, but a lot of times I'll just put it back in and then fill it as I'm doing now and start it back up. As you can see, the first pour was good. We're just going to continue this process, pour a few more rounds until we're done with the aluminum, and then we will actually switch over to the copper and do the same process there.
enough of the aluminum. Now, got some copper. Let's put that in.
So you're going to see it smoke from time to time when I put new copper in there. It could be with any metals, but with the copper in particular, it typically has some debris on it, tape or things like that, that are just oils that are burning off. So anytime you see smoke coming out, that's really what it is. It's burning off. So what I'm doing here is bringing a bin over so I can actually put water in it and put the tank in it. What you'll see on the tank after you use it for a while, the bottom of it is freezing up. And because of that, it doesn't allow the same amount of pressure to go into the furnace, and I need that consistent. So literally I just take a bucket of water, and the water I'm using I actually used to cool off the metal from the aluminum build, so the water's warmer. It's not real hot, it's just warmer, so it actually allows the tank to thaw out quicker. So I use that, and that solves my problems. Now I mentioned earlier that I like to put the crucible back inside the furnace and then fill it up. You will see me from time to time putting stuff in, and the reason being is as it gets so hot, I try to do some of it outside before, so I'm not in the furnace. It's not hot enough to burn me, but it's definitely warm enough to where if I can find alternative methods, I will, and that's what I do. So this is something you don't see me do often, the actual cleaning of the metal part itself. A lot of times I'm going to remelt these into something else, so I don't, but I thought this time I would actually clean the copper up. I actually tried to clean one of the aluminums. It really didn't make a lot of difference, but I figured I'd clean the copper up so you could see what it looks like and how I do that. So we'll go through that process, cleaning everything up, and then show you the final products.
V from Our Dream, Our Purpose. I'm back, finished it up, let everything cool down, cleaned up the copper. You got to see that a little bit. You didn't get to see all the pores as I tried a different angle, so I had the camera up right at the ceiling, and it wasn't venting in here as much, so it got really warm up top and actually shut the camera off. So I missed a little bit of the copper, but essentially you've seen that before. This was a generator that we had taken apart, the generator itself, the gas motor. Actually got quite a bit out of it. So from an aluminum standpoint, melted these little bars. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 13, 14, 15 of these. Got some thin bars, 2 of those, and then these are just some miscellaneous overflow. I'll remelt those later. But literally got almost around 12 pounds of aluminum. That's a lot of aluminum. From a copper standpoint, this is just a little bit of an overpour here. And then 3 bars. I cleaned them up so you can just kind of see how they look when they're clean. They look a lot different, but we're sitting at around a little over 6 pounds here. So impressed with the amount. It did take a lot of work. When you see me tearing things apart, I'll use hammers. Because I'm not trying to save anything. If I'm trying to save it, I'll take it apart lightly, gently, or if I'm trying to fix it. In this case, I'm not. So you see me with a hammer. You see sometimes I'll use different tools. If you have suggestions, you see an easier way to do it, please let me know. Comment down below. So keep watching. I've got, I think on the next pour, I got a couple other things I want to pour, but I got something a little unique. So on a future pour, I'm actually going to gift an item or 2 out to anyone that leaves comments. So keep watching for your future one and see if you got an opportunity to win a free prize. So, but again, thanks everyone for being here, for watching, for commenting, for liking, and I kind of enjoy doing it, so I'll keep doing it, but I'm always looking to learn, so leave some comments out there. All right? All right. Like, subscribe. Our Dream, Our Purpose. Thank you very much.